hope that it goes well.
All right.
Come on, give me a stream.
Can you guys promote the thing? Because I can't.
Yeetus.
Starbucks. Please all be my girlfriend. What were you guys doing while I was gone?
What were we not doing?
The huge.
I love that it still says immediately.
For the
Oh God.
super chat.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Don't forget to immediately.
That's nice. How do you spell
Okay.
immediately? I know that's not right because we made fun of it last time, but I'm afraid to try and correct it.
Right.
Everyone super chat so that way we can get Jesse into some English lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then we can afford it.
Right.
For real this time.
So
This time with feeling.
working. Yay.
Come or else.
I'm so
There we
excited
go.
for E3,
Yeah, can you
though.
finish tweeting that so that way I can retweet it because I don't want to promo.
Put that on Discord. But yeah, I'll tweet it.
Oh, swanky.
Tweet.
Yeah.
Tweet.
I'm just so
Oh, wait. I have to write Twitter. I was trying to open up Twitter.
Tried inviting everyone.
Everyone? In the world?
Yeah, to dinner.
Oh,
Is
nice. What's
Boots-
for dinner?
Wherever CC
Is it gonna
decides
be
to take us, since she's
More
the
of
one
my
that lives
broken
in the area.
cookies.
Maybe. I was thinking something more along the lines of Korean barbecue.
Well, Cece offered to make us all cup of noodles, so.
Oh. That would be nice. What I also want to do is more live stream gaming shenanigans.
Yeah.
We should finish playing that game that we were playing that we never finished playing.
What game?
Four Swords? Was it Four Swords?
Yes,
yeah.
It was Four Swords.
Four Swords Adventure.
Sorry. What? Retro, I thought you said that you were hungry but you didn't feel like eating, and now you've committed to an entire mini pizza?
Oh, yeah.
That's banana. That's too much.
I hate the they have the DiGiorno mini pizzas that are like the personal pizzas.
Oh, that's delivery, right?
No, the DiGiorno.
Sorry.
Okay, so I was gonna say I hate them because they're like a quarter of the size of the actual pizzas, but the actual pizzas are like $2 more. And it's
Big
like
oof.
if you're already paying like $5, why not pay $7 and get like
Go all
Oh,
the way.
no.
4 times as
Uh-oh.
much? What's going
Oops. I accidentally installed Discord
Uh-oh.
to my dad's laptop, and he's getting my
Uh-oh.
notifications.
Uh-oh. I can't believe you. Why wouldn't you just use your phone or browser or
Because
something?
this is when I was trying to get the podcast set up last week. Oh. Can you guys not say anything inappropriate in the chat in my Discord right now? I really don't want my dad to see that.
Oh boy, time to go say everything inappropriate. I'll just tell everyone to not be inappropriate, and that won't give them any bad ideas.
All of
It's
the
okay.
inappropriate
Gibbs
stuff.
isn't here right now, so he's not going to tag everyone in my lewd dungeon, so we're okay. Oh, yes, everyone. While you're here and while we're slacking off, please welcome our fourth co-host today. Ilya couldn't make it, so we introduced Kayla when she was 18.
It's not a totally weird painting of Kayla.
No.
It's also very large, as you can tell.
See, so the one we've got here is there's Chublima. That's the Kayla of today. So that one, the Kayla of the past, that's the what Twitter insists on referring to as Kayla Erasure.
It's pronounced eraser.
I'm pretty sure
off.
it's Erasure, like the band.
Erasure. Is that a
I really
band?
wish I was that cool.
Why
but
was
it's
it
definitely
eraser?
eraser?
Why? That's so much more lame. Kayla,
Because
that's Kayla Eraser. Like you're
I
trying
was-
to erase this weird portrait of yourself.
I think you're making
Accurate.
up things.
But I was very young when I made Kayla Eraser, okay? I was a small bab. I was 13.
What does it mean?
I understand.
Is it just supposed
Uh,
to be edgy?
Is it just an eraser?
It's just an eraser, guys. Don't think too much into it.
Oh, well, okay.
Also, Retro is complaining, Jesse, that you are only slightly quieter than Daniel and I.
So everyone's quiet?
I could be slightly quieter.
I could just not talk.
We could just all be a little quieter to match.
There. Now I'm a teensy bit louder.
That is better. I appreciate that.
Nice. I appreciate
Bye, friendo.
you.
Abigail, welcome, 18-year-old Kayla.
18-year-old.
Thank you, Abigail.
So, are we guys ready? Are we guys ready?
Let's rumble.
All right.
Do the heckin' thing.
All right. I guess we can start. Hello,
Did we
everyone.
promo this? Sorry.
Who?
No, thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us on episode 79, I believe, of the Hylian Gamescast is Shablima and Daniel. Today we're going to be talking about Cadence of Hyrule. We're going to be looking over some Twilight Princess reviews. We're going to be talking about Xbox putting some of their games on the Nintendo Switch, which we kind of talked about last week, but now we have actual confirmation. And so all the people that were commenting on the videos like Xbox and Nintendo would never work together. It's like, well, they already did. So yeah. Anyways, we're going to end the video talking about our top 5 worst Zelda dungeons. And then, if we have enough time, we're going to be answering some questions sent in from you guys. If you would like to guarantee your question be answered, you can head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, just as Wildhorse64, Samuel, Ranjamin, Foxo, Andrew, Jonathan, David, Amanda, Jacob, Derek, Blargnar, Michelle, Mandy Lee, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Vortex, Gus, Monica, Link Use the Triforce, Lunarium, Shadow to Us, Rusty, Lovable Christy, Fallen Echo, and Halo Justin. So, starting us off, Daniel, would you like to take the first news story of Cadence of Hyrule?
Sure, man. Well, I hope everyone watched the Direct thing, the Indie Direct. Came as a little bit of a surprise at the end. Nintendo never does that. So
we have the announcement news thing, and then the new info beside it. It's just a cool little factoid that you can add in. It's apparently the people that made all of the art for Sonic Mania also worked on this Zelda game. So
wow. This article comes from Game Informer. The article is citing the Direct, so it's this is very good news. It says Cadence of Hyrule, a rhythm-based Legend of Zelda title announced. So it says today at the Indies Showcase. It wasn't today though, sorry guys. It was on the 20th. Nintendo revealed a semi-sequel / spin-off to the indie hit Crypt of the Necrodancer set in the Legend of Zelda universe, titled the incredibly wordy Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. The game takes Necrodancer's gameplay and puts a Legend of Zelda skin over it in terms of music, monsters, and graphics in general. And yeah, it's a procedurally generated RNG type game, so don't expect some classic Zelda dungeons, other than maybe the assets and themes and that kind of thing. But just let's see. The other thing that Jesse mentioned, tidbit of news from ZeldaUniverse.net, which is a pretty neat website, by the way. It says the pixel art for Cadence of Hyrule was handled by Sonic Mania artists. So new information about Cadence of Hyrule is beginning to trickle out after the game's announcement earlier this week, and based on a tweet by Sonic Mania art director Tom Fry, it would appear that artists Midio, I don't know how to pronounce his name, and Paul Veer are involved with the pixel art for Cadence. Veer is the lead artist for Brace Yourself Games, the Canada-based. Oh yeah, they're based in Vancouver, by the way.
Heyo!
That's my hometown, boys. So, the Canada-based studio developing the game, both he and independent artist, I'm just going to call him Midio, I'm taking that leap of faith, produced artwork for Sonic Mania and also had their hands in the other official works, including the Sonic the Hedgehog 25th Anniversary Art Book and River City Ransom Underground. Respectively, more of their work can be found via their Tumblr page. People still use Tumblr?
I still use Tumblr.
Okay, Cadence of Hyrule is set for release on Nintendo Switch sometime this spring. If you haven't seen it yet, watch the reveal trailer and let us know what you think of this roguelike crossover. And that's the thing. I really like the look of this game, by the way, but I'm probably the original game big sales too. But I've been looking forward to and thinking about jumping into the original Crypt of the Necrodancer because of this. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we had the interview a long time ago where Aonuma mentioned that they were looking for new ways or a new look, or however he described it, as like he wanted to evolve what a 2D Zelda game is. Do you think this is what he was hinting towards? Because it is technically evolved
right.
If you compare it to all of the other games, as it's like music and time based as opposed to just a straight up 2D Zelda game. But yeah,
but the gameplay, like the framework of the game, seems very much just a sequel, like a straight sequel of the Crypt of the Necrodancer, like the first game. So I don't know if it's so much of a evolution of 2D Zelda so much as like a an amalgamation of Zelda and this other franchise kind of coming together. So I don't know if Aonuma had this kind of project in mind when he made those statements necessarily, but it could be. I mean, it's Nintendo. We can never say for sure because they hold their cards close to their chest and everything. You know, that's whatever. How does that phrase go? Keep their cards. They're secretive. That's what I mean.
Right. Shoot.
Nailed it.
Since you're likely going to be sent out by Nintendo to talk about this game, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, what?
What? I said, since you're likely going to be sent out to talk about this game by Nintendo, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so we're gonna take that entire me and Nintendo bit and we're gonna put it over here because I don't know what happens with Nintendo.
I'm so curious now. Curiosity intensifies.
Yeah.
I know what you guys know. Anyways, on that note though, I think that this is a really exciting. I actually didn't realize that this was just like a reskinned version of this game. So that's really interesting, and like Daniel said, I'd love to go and revisit the original. And then that being said, like I would love if they took notes from small independent developers like this. Like this is a really cool idea. It's all rhythm based. It's like this awesome rhythm roguelike based game. So I'm all about that. And it also kind of goes in tune with like even like Blossom Tales. Like that was like a straight up nod to Legend of Zelda, and I know that like collectively we all really enjoyed that game. So yeah,
I think nod is even an understatement.
It is. They quite literally like just throw it right in there. Like they are not ashamed.
Yeah. Like part of me wonders if they made a Zelda game and Nintendo's like, you can't do that. And they're like, well, it's actually this new IP. And just
oops,
like...
did we say Zelda? We meant Lily.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. It's like
no, like so they're what?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, as far as like what like I would have to do in that role though, is like for the most part, I haven't really demoed a lot of indie games with Nintendo. Like at events that I've been to, we had Overcooked, and then we also had Celeste. I think that was the name of the game. People are all over that game, but we haven't really I haven't seen a lot of that being incorporated into events yet. So it'd be really cool if they did. I'd be all over that. I'd want to demo the heck out of that game.
Do you not have any issues with it being like rhythm based, to where like you have to play everything to the beat?
No, not at all. I think for doing a demo of it, I would have issues with it though, because hearing things in a tent full of children doesn't happen. Like, you know, in Mario Party, how they have the rhythm-based games? Those are a disaster to demo. You
Oh, I
cannot
bet.
you cannot hear the rhythm. You are just like trying to stab to the best of your ability.
And is this a single player or is it multiplayer?
It
Looks
looks
single player.
single player.
But it'd be cool to have like a co-op
Yeah.
sort of deal.
Mm-hmm.
I really want, because you bring up a good point, especially like on a portable console, like the rhythm aspect of it. It would be really cool if they had HD Rumble worked into it somehow,
Yeah, right?
and just like even just like a little feel of the beat with that or something, you know, like even just really light. I think it would be really cool. You don't need to this Switch to be going bananas the whole time,
Yeah.
but we don't need the DK bongos. But
We don't need a code banana on our hands.
we don't need a code a banana.
No code bananas, please.
I'll just stretch my Donkey Kong socks out here. Ooh, just normal stretching that I'm doing.
Can you get Donkey Kong out of here?
Oh, banana.
So it's interesting that, you know, Nintendo had the Hyrule Warriors as the first big Zelda spin-off that was in collaboration with another team. And there's the interviews from that team where they mentioned that Aonuma told them that they couldn't add in actual dungeons because they had to do something that Nintendo couldn't. And then with Mario Cross Rabbids, Miyamoto told Ubisoft that Mario was not allowed to jump in the game. Like, you are not allowed to press a button and have Mario jump. So with this game, do you think like there was any other odd requests from Miyamoto or Aonuma for this spin-off, or do you think it was just make your normal game and just put Zelda stuff in it?
That's a really good question, because like for it to be in a Nintendo Direct, like they must have had some sort of cahoots before they decided that they were going to be like, hey, this is a game that's coming out on the Switch, especially it being so like to one of their IPs, right?
Yeah. Daniel?
Or maybe that's one of those things that as a developer they had to think about before they did it.
Yeah. It's I'm waiting for the inevitable interview to come out after they release the game, to where they finally say like, yeah, we wanted to make it more like Zelda, but Nintendo didn't let us do this, or this. Like, I wonder if the regenerating dungeons or whatever it's called was.
Well, I did find one article actually, but I can't remember where I found it. But I should have linked you to it for this very reason.
Nice.
But that did mention that initially they conceived it as just a DLC pack to add Zelda characters into the original game.
I remember this.
And then Nintendo was like, well, wait, can we can build on this more, actually. And then they just kept going from there, and it just became a new game out of that. So, I mean, in a way, I guess they never conceived it initially as its own standalone title or sequel to the original. But like any game where they're like, oh, and any indie game, even just having Zelda characters as DLC pack would be a huge deal already. Like just that would be a big deal. The fact that they did that, they wanted to do that, and Nintendo was like, hang on, we can build a whole game out of this. This is great. That just like goes to show the potential of the gameplay style present in the first game. So yeah. It's piqued my interest.
Now they just need to call up the Blossom Tales people.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh, but there you go.
It's already a
Zelda reskin game. Is
sorry.
The reskin is probably what sealed the deal for having this game even come out on the Switch, though. That's what I'm thinking.
Probably. Retro in the chat says, "What if you could play this game with a DDR pad?"
No. Oh gosh. No. That's like someone mentioned Animal Crossing VR on Twitter the other day, and instantly, no. Why would you ruin my favorite game with VR?
There's the PlayStation game where they do that.
Oh yeah, the other Animal Crossing that isn't actually Animal Crossing.
Yeah, like you play as the ghost god person. And then
what?
Yeah, like
this was at E3 last year.
Yeah, like everyone was like half passed out at E3, like on the couch and everything, and I was watching the PlayStation Direct, and I was like, that looks like Animal Crossing. But this is
Yeah, I
PlayStation.
came out from somewhere, and you're like, Kayla, you're missing it. It's a new Animal Crossing. What? And I ran out, and I'm like, Jesse, this isn't Animal Crossing. Why?
Now I remember.
Yeah.
I just remember that part, actually.
It did look really cool, though.
I was feeling ill that morning. So
Yeah, it was almost as if PlayStation was like, let's make an Animal Crossing game, and then halfway through development they're like, we can't do that. Like,
wait,
what were you thinking? And they were like, well,
can't do that, can we?
yeah, it's almost like I remember whenever the original God of War first came out, the director was like, well, I was never going to have permission to make a Zelda game, so I just made my own mature Zelda game.
Mature.
Yeah.
God of War is more like God of Boy, though, so...
Oh, yeah.
Dad of Boy.
Especially now. Dad of Boy. And they both came out during the Game Awards, right? Do you remember? During the Game Awards, they came out?
Oh! Yeah! Boy and God.
Yeah, so the real question
AKA Christopher
here...
Judge.
Oh, the actors.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Where in the
I'm
Zelda
slow.
timeline does this game take place?
I want to say that the Downfall timeline. Just based strictly on the fact that Link and Zelda's designs are pulled right out of A Link Between Worlds.
Oh, I didn't expect a serious answer, but...
That's
guess
just
that
like
works.
a real big shot in the dark. I'm just basically like throwing darts at a dartboard without looking at it. So
Yeah.
but genuinely, that's my reasoning.
I mean, they could just like wake up at the end of it and then Link just be like, "What was that music?" the whole game's based around music. I don't know, but it looks cool. Can you guys, before we move on to the next topic, can you guys think of any like side spin-off games that you would like to see, like a collaboration with another studio and stuff? Like I had mentioned, Mother Tales. No, wait, God, what's the name of it?
What?
I said Mother Tales. That's not something.
You
Blossom
said
Tales.
what is Blossom Tales? What is
Yeah.
Mother Tales?
I was
Ah,
thinking
yes.
of Mother
Ness shows up in her.
I was thinking, yeah. Exactly. No, so
Like I figured DuckTales and then Mother combined.
Well, Zelda 2 is close to DuckTales.
And yeah, that's true.
Jesse, Jorge says you're still quiet.
Okay. How about now? I should be
I guess
louder.
we'll
I
Mm.
don't know.
Do you mean like another Zelda-related spin-off game, or just in general a spin-off
Just
game?
like in general, like whether it's something that Nintendo and someone else is doing together, or an indie game or something, like just if it's not a studio or a game that you would like to see it collaborate with, just like some bizarre type of Zelda game. Like this would have been a music-based Zelda spin-off. So,
But choose wisely, because we might will it into existence, like with the Tetris Battle Royale game that now exists and is actually really good. So
We just need to cancel the podcast while we're ahead.
still waiting on Pikmin Battle Royale. Oh no. But yeah, I mean, I guess the best way would be to really pull it into a completely new genre that we haven't seen Zelda in before. So yeah, in this case, kind of amalgamating a rhythm game in Hyrule Warriors. It was just an amalgamation of Zelda and hack and slash genre, right? So I don't know, like, I guess this is very tricky. I
Hylian
really
and
like...
Luke has a real... Oh, sorry. Continue.
Oh no, you'll go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was
Turn-based
just looking. Hylian and Luke said a turn-based Zelda RPG. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And I think we've mentioned this kind of idea before, but just imagine, Link's your main fighter character in this party, and then you've got just the champions are like a great example. It doesn't have to be those actual characters, but they're a great example of what would be a really awesome turn-based RPG party to have.
Yes.
Just put all those guys together. You got Mipha as your healer, Revali as your archer, You got Daruk's like your big heavy guy who's probably very slow in comparison to the other characters.
Tank.
Urbosa's your tank.
Tank. He's your
Oh,
tank.
he's your tank. Yeah. Okay, fine. I thought you said tank. I'm like,
yeah.
tank. I'm like, I need more context than just saying tank. But yeah, no, Urbosa is actually probably a pretty comparable fighter. Who would also be, I imagine, a magic user based on Urbosa's Fury being her other signature move.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've got a really cool cast of characters, and those are just plucking one character from each race in that Zelda game. So imagine all the potential of all the different Zelda races and stuff, of what kind of cool RPG party you can come up. Yeah, I really like that idea. Thank you, Hylian Luke, for completely supplying my answer.
We're taking the answer. It's ours now.
We are hijacking that one.
Yeah, like I think that would really work out well. Lately Pokemon
Retro is a good point. Golden Sun needs more love. Just Golden Sun cross Zelda. Boom, done.
Yeah.
There you go.
But Pokemon have done a lot of weird spin-offs lately with I can't even think of it. What's it called? Pokemon
Quest?
No, Pokemon Quest. Yeah.
Dragon Quest Builders?
Island. No,
Pokemon Gun.
The weird island.
Pokemon Gun.
But I was thinking about like that is drastically different than their typical games, and then they have like whatever I Choose You Pikachu or Hey You Pikachu on the Nintendo 64.
Hey Pikachu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic. Pokemon Snap is your on-rails shooter.
Technically, yeah.
No.
I guess it is. But
yeah, Pokemon Snap is mechanically similar to Star Fox, and I just want everyone to think about that for a while.
Daniel, did you just laugh so hard you decided to mute yourself? Is that what happened there?
I was gonna type something.
Oh.
And I mute myself when I'm gonna into the chat because my keyboard is just like. That actually wasn't my keyboard, but it is loud.
Perfect.
But my joke took precedent here. I'm sorry.
I forgot the name
Jesse,
of it, but I've mentioned it a lot in the past. It's kind of like a Fire Emblem game, but it's got a completely different name. But it crossed over with Pokemon to where like you have like an ancient Japanese warrior person, and then there's like Pokemon as the side characters, and it's played as like a turn-based Fire Emblem type game. So like they've done really bizarre Pokemon spin-offs, and then recently the Mario had the turn-based RPG with Mario plus Rabbids. Yeah, almost forgot the name. So like I would kind of expect Zelda to be the next one to get some weird turn-based style game, because as much as people want to call Zelda an RPG, it just has RPG elements. It's not necessarily an RPG. Like Call of Duty and Need for Speed and everything, like almost every single game has a way for you to level up something or unlock a new ability or a new item, and those are RPG mechanics. So it's like, just because they have, like, you wouldn't call Call of Duty an RPG, someone would look at you and be like, well, you're stupid, go away.
Yeah, like that's not it.
Yeah.
Totally. I just realized something cool too with this whole RPG idea that we're running with, like really running with. It would be really neat to have a story, an RPG game where you build your own party that way, and Link is not your main character.
You have to rescue Link. That's the story.
Sure. Or I was thinking we could pull a Federation force and he's off doing something else. But you still he's off doing dungeons, but you got stuff happening in the world, and he's like 10 floors deep underground in some dungeon somewhere, and your village is being attacked. So I mean, you're not gonna just wait for him to show up, right? Yeah. So
I could see
yeah, like stuff still happens in the world while Link's busy doing stuff. So I don't know, and then maybe he's like the final character, joins your party and is super OP. So I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas, but I also I don't know, people always like hate this kind of stuff. Like that was one of the concepts I really liked about Federation Force, was that it was a game set in the Metroid universe and Samus was not the main character, because then you got to see like what are all these Federation soldiers actually good for? What do they do while Samus is off doing stuff, right? So it's, I don't know. It's just I don't think necessarily there was a lot of other things to praise about that game necessarily, either good or bad, but it was just kind of okay. But I never beat it, so I don't know. I never played it with friends either, so probably doesn't help. So I don't have friends to play with anyway. So.
I volunteer as friend. I'm coming over right now.
Right now?
Yep.
Nice.
But it could be really cool. I think people would probably be upset about it, but then it could still be a really fun game. So I don't know, guys. Just throwing out some thoughts. I like that the 18-year-old Kayla is just staring over your shoulder.
She's become my parrot.
They've seen Kayla.
They've seen.
Because out of my 2 favorite moments that happened from E3, it's the bananas and their continuation, and they've seen dogs.
Yeah.
They've seen dogs.
No, it's great because like anytime I post like just a random banana or like a picture of me stabbing a banana, there's always someone who understands. Like there may be someone who comments and they're like, "What the crap's going on here? Why are you stabbing a banana?" But there's always the one person that's like, "I know what's going on."
Yeah. Classic.
So I guess we can move on to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So overall, Cadence of Hyrule. What's everyone's final thoughts, and how much do they think it's going to cost, or like how much would you pay for it?
I assume it'll list for $24.99.
I was gonna say
eShop
20.
only, and I would pay 60.
You would pay 60?
Okay, like reasonably I could say like justify like $40-$50 game for the game. I feel like depending on how long the actual gameplay is, but I genuinely think $25, $24.99 is what I genuinely think the price point is going to be.
Okay. Tubes?
$20 would definitely buy. I'm really cheap though. If it goes any higher than 30, I won't pay for it.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's got Zelda, I'll take 2.
I'm like, ooh, games cost money. I budget maybe 1 every 2 or 3 months, depending on how I'm feeling.
I'll buy both versions of Pokemon. What?
2 totally different people. You can tell clearly by our backgrounds.
Yeah, one of us has a weird painting.
So I just thought about, do you guys
Leave her
remember,
alone, she's beautiful. Sorry, what?
do you remember the Donkey Kong game on Gamecube where it's like the 2D side-scroll Donkey Kong Country type game, but you play with the bongos?
Right. I think Jungle Beat.
Yeah, Jungle Beat.
Yeah.
Like, would you play this game like that? Like if there was some weird instrument it released with? Like Deku drums or Goron, I don't know.
I feel like a peripheral like that would just undermine the whole appeal of it being on Switch.
Yeah.
For any game, basically. Like, even for me, like, Starlink's peripheral is fun at first, but pretty much once you, like, scan the ships in and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't want to use this to play the game because it's on the Switch. I want to take it and go lay in bed with my Switch and play it, or put it in and use my Pro Controller and play it, and I don't want those weird ship to be, I don't know, you know. So I feel like in the case of the Switch, the mass appeal is that you can play it on the TV like a regular console, or you can just pick it up and walk around the house or lie in bed and play it. I think most people just lie in bed and play it. And if you had a peripheral like musical instrument controller like the DK bongos, it would just undermine that appeal. And I probably could have just left that as one sentence instead of over explaining it, but
no, it's good.
But here
Retro
I go.
says, imagine a DDR pad.
No. Retro?
I didn't even like DDR pads for DDR. So,
Yeah. No, it's
Can I play DDR for my bed? No, not in.
No, I had a friend who would play Guitar Hero with the controller. So
like a.
I've played Halo with the guitar.
I really want to. You know what? I think I'm gonna get a set of DK Bongo. Just see how many games I can actually get good at playing using.
Is there only like 2 buttons on it? Like,
yeah, I think so. See if I can play Smash using that.
I don't even know how you play it. Is it like Mario Run, to where he just moves automatically and you gotta like hit the button to jump?
I think using the DK drums, you gotta like tap one way on the drum to go one way and tap one way to go the other way. The left bongo makes you move left. The right bongo makes you move right.
That sounds so boring. Anyways,
it's no tropical freeze, that's for sure.
Guys,
there's no Cranky Kong. Yeah. So Twilight Princess reviews. Do you we can move on?
I've already picked my review.
Sweet.
Oh, hot dog! I gotta go looking.
All right.
You're not allowed to pick the very last one. That one's mine.
Hello, everyone. I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is Chiblima and Daniel, and today we're going to be looking at some old retro Twilight Princess reviews. This is not Twilight Princess HD or Twilight Princess on the GameCube, but the original release on the Nintendo Wii. And yes, Twilight Princess released on the Wii a week or two before it released on the GameCube, even though it was developed for the GameCube and not the Wii originally. It's odd. But anyways, we're going to be looking at some old reviews, similar to how we've done for Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild, some other Zelda games, and just kind of look through and discuss whatever crazy idea that people had about the game, because sometimes people don't understand what a review actually means. And yeah, let's just get in here and see what kind of crap some people have said about Twilight Princess. So Chubes, you said that you had yours picked out first. So
I did. I definitely did. This is the newest review, which to me just blows my mind. This comes from Metacritic.com, and I don't know how to pronounce this guy's username because it's just a bunch of letters. When I first got the game, I played it for a few hours and thought it was really good. But as the game goes on, it gets really bad. Twilight Princess is very boring and repetitive and full of way too many puzzles. Video games are supposed to be fun. This game is not fun at all. If you love puzzles, you'll love this game, but if you don't and you're just looking for fun, this game is not for you.
This review was not written for me.
He doesn't like puzzles! Why are you playing Legend of Zelda?
Yeah, what... I mean... That's the entire point of a dungeon, is like it has puzzles.
All
right.
pretty much all Zelda games have puzzles. I don't know what crazy games he's been playing.
I don't know.
Did he specifically say that the other Zelda games are good? This one's just bad?
Nope, didn't say anything about them.
You just said puzzles.
Just puzzles. He just says he doesn't like puzzles.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either. And this review was done in 2015. I'm even more confused. But
whoa.
Who is this person? They type normally, so I assume that they've been playing video games for a while, or they know a thing about video games and life.
Alright.
Anyways.
Well,
I'm done having an emotional breakdown over this. Someone go next.
My review comes from Madison Jacka. I don't understand the name, but they give it a 0 out of 10. This is from June 8, 2011. So right before the Wii U would have launched. They say, this was a terrible game in comparison to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I am ashamed at the direction Nintendo went with this. Too easy, bosses, no love at all. Does not deserve such a high rating. I beat it once and have no desire to touch it again. So with this, the bosses, like some of the bosses are literally a copy and paste from Ocarina of Time, and the game itself is kind of a copy and paste of Ocarina of Time. Like you forest, fire, water dungeon, the game changes in some mysterious way, and then you get like 7 more dungeons and like Ganondorf even like kidnaps Zelda at the end or whatever, and you have the same boss battle with Zelda that you do with Ganondorf in the original, to where like you Dead Man's Volley or whatever they call it, where you have to like knock back you're basically playing tennis or whatever, and then you even fight Ganon, like Beast Ganon, the same way, and then well, not the same way, but like they reverse it, but yeah, like you have the same fights, and then like Morphil is literally almost the same as Morpha, I guess. No, who am I thinking of?
Morphil? Morpha? You said Morpha. You think about Morphil?
I was thinking of someone else though.
I don't know.
Something with an M. Majora.
No. I'll think of it. But anyways, like the game's basically the like I don't know. Like there's the forest dungeon, the fire dungeon, the water dungeon, the layout's really close to being the same. You even have to like get the same type of water tunic again before you can breathe underwater.
True. No red tunic though.
It's
or no Goron tunic. Yeah. There is a tunic that is red, but it's completely unrelated. But
yeah,
like it's just odd to me. Like a lot of the puzzles are the same, like the block type puzzles, or lighting the torches, shooting the arrows, and like knocking things over. Yeah, like you even get the iron boots for the same reason, or for the same thing. Like the game is literally a 60 to 70% copy and paste of Ocarina of Time. So I don't understand. But yeah, Daniel.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Bring it.
This is a game written in 2007, so it's a bit more contextually makes some sense. I don't want to trash this guy. Clearly, he's a man of different tastes than I. But he says, this is Mark. That's his name. Sorry, guys. He gave this game a 4 out of 10. So it's not the worst review. He says, sorry, guys. I'm not impressed. I came from the PC world and bought the Wii because of the innovative controls. Okay. Sounds good, Mark. Wii Sports is a blast, and I had a lot of fun with it. Great. Not the game you're reviewing, but good. Zelda seems like an outdated, poorly designed game with a somewhat interesting storyline, but the controls are bad. The character keeps running into things and getting stuck, both in Link and Wolf mode. I never had this problem, by the way. Wolf mode especially seems to be really touchy. Fighting mobs seems to be difficult as well. You can't use the nunchuck to turn to the enemy. It's too slow/awkward. You have to target them. There are things I like about this game. For example, the fishing. But yeesh, when does this actually get fun? I'd take World of Warcraft, Oblivion, or some modern RPG any day. So Mark, I understand, but I don't agree.
This post just says PC Master Race.
It does scream of that, but also the fishing was the part you liked. The fishing, and you didn't like Zed targeting. you didn't like targeting, but you liked fishing in 3D Zelda. What's going on? I actually have noticed, just glancing through, a lot of these reviews cite this problem where apparently like people are playing this game and having this problem where Link is walking into things, and I never had this issue. Like a lot of these reviews talk about walking into things and getting stuck, and I never had this problem. I just the only one who's capable of not walking into walls in a video game? Or
that's what I thought for the longest time. People are always all like, oh, Wii controls are so bad and they're so hard to navigate, and I'm bad at this game because I'm playing it on the Wii. And I'm like, just get good?
Get good, yeah. I mean,
that's it.
I mean, I will admit, like, I think the Wii U version of Twilight Princess are superior because of the C-stick. And having your right thumbstick giving you that extra camera control, and in addition to all the other bells and whistles tacked on in the Wii U version. So like going back to the Wii version after that and having to click Z to pan the camera to center it behind Link feels a little dated.
You're just
when you're
rubbing
used to-
salt in the wound right now for me.
But I never at the time of the Wii found this to be an issue at all. Like I never found it intrusive. In fact, like playing on the N64 with Zelda, I actually find if you go back and try and play Mario 64 where they tried to do that with the C buttons, that camera controls horribly, and Zelda is just a quick snap to center the camera.
I even thought Mario, the camera in Mario 64 at the time was bad.
It is bad. I was like
that.
objectively, it's
Yeah, maybe it was
Mario
just because
64's camera
Zelda
controls
was so
could have been
good.
fixed by doing what they did with Zelda instead.
Yeah.
But
I just
They
want to
couldn't
remind
patch
you
it.
of why why I'm so heartbroken by this entire conversation.
I'm sorry.
Well, this is why I chose Twilight Princess,
That's-
because you were playing through it.
But for the uninitiated or those that don't know what's going on, I lent Chublima my copy of Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U. Plus, careful with that bag. Those are my amiibos in there. Dude, and some amiibos, but I'm just teasing you. I'm sorry. But she had a Wii U that she borrowed from someone else and forgot some cables, and between that and the capture card, and so she ended up emulating it in an inferior version of the game, we'll say. So just for those wondering why that's rubbing salt in the wound. But yes.
Okay.
Yes. What fun reviews.
Yeah. There's another quick one here that says,
Ooh, let's do it.
from Pokey M in December 14th, 2006. So this was about a month after the game released. They say this game claims to have bad graphics. I don't remember the game ever claiming to have bad
advertised it. It's like, wow, guys, check out this innovative thing. We got bad graphics.
No, so it says this game claims to have bad graphics, but good gameplay. But really, it does neither very well. So maybe he meant good
the graphics are good, I guess.
but that doesn't make
If
sense.
it does bad graphics not well, that means it's good,
Yeah.
right?
This game is basically Ocarina of Time with tacked on Wii wand control and character design. Link looked badass in Ocarina of Time, but in Twilight Princess, he reminds me of an emotional Seventh Heaven character. I don't know what that means.
Seventh Heaven was a really weird show.
Nintendo should really just do what they intended to do in the first place and remake Ocarina of Time with updated graphics. They never said they were going to do that.
Nope.
Of course, the Wii is just the tiniest step up from the 64 anyways, and is not capable of rendering better images than the original Xbox. Somewhere in the last 7 to 10 years, Nintendo lost their way. Technically, the Nintendo Wii is about twice as powerful as the original Xbox. Like it was a mid-step between like where the original consoles were, like GameCube and PlayStation, and then the other one. Because like the GameCube was already more powerful than the PlayStation 2 and almost as powerful as the Xbox. And then the Wii was like a supercharged GameCube. So
Yeah.
And I thought Twilight Princess like is one of the best looking games at that time.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when it came out.
Yeah, me too. I was enamored with it when it came out.
Yeah.
And with the whole... I actually, at the time that the Wii came out, I was just nuts about it. And one of my best friends had just got his PS3 instead. And was very hoity-toity about his PS3. I was like, okay, well, have fun being broke, because you just spent... It was like, at the time of launch, it was like $600 for a
Yeah.
PS3.
Oh yeah,
And
they
it
were
was in
really
Canada,
expensive.
so it would have been like 1,000.
Yeah, I don't even know how much he spent, to be honest. And I was just like, well, I'm having fun. And he was really, I remember at one point he was really not on board until at one point he dropped by and actually saw me playing it. And then he was coming over asking to play on it. And I was like, having fun yet? Wait. Anyway, so I don't know, like I was super enamored with the Wii and the Wii remote. It had a speaker on it and lights on the controller, and like just I was definitely a geek. So it was.
Yeah.
He says.
Was.
Clearly, by seeing the background, you're
Clearly not
really
anymore, right?
So guys,
You've really grown out of that.
We've looked through for like 5 or 6 different games and like 3 to 5 reviews for each of the games. We've looked through a lot of negative or bad reviews, but we still haven't been able to find one where someone is actually giving real reasons. Like this one's just like he looks like an emo Seventh Heaven character. And then the other one's like, it has too many puzzles.
Too many puzzles in the Zelda. Too much water.
Please give me an actual flaw.
It's like if someone was playing Pokemon, and they're just like, there's too many of them.
There's too many Pokemon.
There's too many.
I was really attached to this character, and it changed. It evolved. It's complete.
I gave
Honestly,
my Eevee a Firestone, and now he's... I don't know what to do.
Nintendo, please fix. Clearly bugged.
Pikachu.
Game's broken.
Pikachu touched the Thunderstone. Now it's fat. I don't know what's going on.
Rude.
Yeah. I actually... They slightly changed the look to Raichu. I used to not like Raichu, but now I do. They made him look cooler.
Because he surfs now?
No.
But Jesse really
Surfing
looks
makes
for in a
everyone
Pokemon.
cooler.
Oh yeah,
Right.
things I look for in a Pokemon. Can he surf? I'm not talking about the move surf. I want to know if he could for real surf.
Yeah. Well, Pikachu
Gonna be a
can,
real beach babe.
right? In Pokemon Snap, there's the surfing Pikachu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And then
and
there's
in
the
I think in
Pikachu
the
on
the
balloons.
title screen of the yellow version, it shows
He's
Pikachu's
also surfing.
Yeah.
which I don't have yellow version, but
You kind of do. You got the remake of it.
I guess that's true. That's true. But
Uh,
Pikachu doesn't. Well, I guess you can actually. Pikachu can learn surf. So it's
Daniel
kind of-
or Tubes, do one of you guys want to take the Xbox thing?
do it, Chu.
Oh, I guess it's me.
Do the thing.
Yeah,
Do the thing.
Ooh.
It was just
Okay.
hilarious because last week people were like, Xbox and Nintendo would never partner with each other. They're rival companies.
Even though
And it's like,
Microsoft has-
Little do you know.
Microsoft likes Nintendo a lot.
They're basically BFFs.
It's gonna use a.
Yeah.
It's gonna use a more inappropriate term to put it, but say
They're the
this is
type of people that like sit in the back of class and make fun of PlayStation.
like they sit together to do
Yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
then when PlayStation shows up, they all get quiet.
And they're like, "Hey, man, we were just playing some games
like,
together."
It's like, what's that? Oh, that's so
Wait,
cool.
you guys
Is
playing
a
that game
Vita?
together? You guys playing that game together? Oh no, we weren't doing crossplay.
Busted. Oh boy. All right. So. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hylian Gamecast, episode 79. I'm Chublima, and today we're going to be discussing some exciting news. This comes from The Verge, and it is about Cuphead coming to Nintendo Switch with Xbox Live support coming. Yet another big indie game is on its way to the Nintendo Switch. It's time. It's the brutally hard Cuphead. The run-and-gun platform game first launched back in 2017 as a Microsoft exclusive, debuting on both the Xbox One and PC. During the announcement, not today, Nintendo specifically called out our friends at Microsoft for making the port possible. While it's arriving late, Cuphead's retro style seems to be an ideal fit for Nintendo's tablet. Particularly the painstakingly hand-drawn 1930s style art. Even more interesting, Microsoft says that Xbox Live support is coming to the Switch version. We'll be working with Studio MDHR to implement Xbox Live features into Cuphead on the Nintendo Switch in the coming months, the company said in a post on the Xbox Wire. And this news comes less than a week after Xbox Live support came to mobile. And you guys can expect Cuphead to come to the Nintendo Switch on April 18th.
10 days after my birthday.
Woo! Have you guys noticed that the Cuphead characters match the Joy-Cons with their colors?
Oh, they do.
Just saying, red and blue are probably not that it's pretty generic like colors, so probably a coincidence, but I still like it.
Yeah,
So-
I wonder, is this game
Oh,
is this online multiplayer?
it probably will be. Well, it has local
But
co-op.
Nintendo
But yeah.
still likes their local.
So it will probably still be
I don't know.
local. So, Luke, I'm going to take everything that I just said back in the chat. We're not going to stream this together because Nintendo probably won't let us. You can come to my place and stream in the comfort of my home. You
Yeah.
can sit right here.
Or if you show
This
up
corner
to
of the bed
E3.
is for you.
So with
Yes.
this, like it's just interesting because they're okay. So how did this all start? Like Xbox or Microsoft, they had that thing to where they were just like, we're gonna bring Xbox Live to like this and this and this and this, and one of the things was Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, but there was a thing,
And then
like a
they-
description of their upcoming panel for GDC at that time, where it was like, we're going to be talking about Xbox Live, and then just that was the blurb was like, coming soon to PC, smartphones, and Nintendo Switch, and then they redacted it, and they were like, we're just expanding it. That's all we said, I swear. So
And
yeah,
I guess this is the first game coming to Xbox, or not X. It's already on Xbox. The first game coming to Nintendo that was Xboxes, and like they already had the thing to where,
Minecraft.
well, yeah, but
On by Xbox. Well, Minecraft's already on like everything. You could play that game
Yeah.
on a shoe if you wanted to. So
Yeah, Minecraft is everywhere.
the,
Minecraft is as ubiquitous on gaming devices as Fortnite is. So
yeah,
You can probably
and-
play it on the smart fridge
yeah, on your
Yeah.
or on Alexa.
So
They even have like the tuned down version of Minecraft for devices that aren't capable of running actual Minecraft, like Minecraft Lite or something like that.
I just got to think about this. Is just a completely unrelated side note, but since Alexa came up, I gotta just tell you this quick story, and I hope I don't get in trouble for telling you this. But I was at work the other day, and someone called in, and I'm like, "Hello," normal blurb, and all I hear is them just yell, "Alexa, turn off!" I'm like super angry. I'm like, that's all. I just had to share that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh.
Just have to share that.
Thanks, Alexa.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alexa probably did something nice for you.
So another thing that I want to mention with this is when we were at E3, we heard the on the GameSpot stage, they asked the president of Xbox Live which Xbox character he would like to see come to Smash Bros. And while most people would say Banjo-Kazooie, he said
Totally.
Master Chief. So do you guys think that because of this weird little thing between Nintendo and Xbox, because, there's no way that Nintendo and Xbox would ever work together on anything. But if they were, like if some of their exclusive games just happen to end up on the Nintendo system, like Cuphead, or if Xbox Live for some reason decided to come over to work on Nintendo Switch. I'm not saying that it ever will, because from what everyone tells me, it'll never happen. But if it were to happen,
Right.
what characters or what games would you realistically think would be coming over after this Cuphead games? Like if Cuphead comes out, not saying it will, but if it does, and it's a huge success, because it's already number 3 on the eShop for like the most popular games or whatever, and that's just from pre-orders. So, but if it does come out, and if it is successful, what other Xbox games would you like to see come out? And you cannot say
Minecraft.
No, the rare,
can't.
the rare pack.
Banjo-Kazooie.
The rare rewind.
Replace.
Yeah,
Rewind.
Is that it? Yeah, I said rewind. Rare replace. That's it. Sorry.
That's it.
Because it's like 30 games in one.
Big oof. First off, I would like to yell at both Axel the Beast and Hylian Luke for both saying that they wanted Master Chief and I almost said Shrek because I just read it, but Super Smash. I'm very unimpressed with both of you. Both of you go to your rooms and think about what you've done.
For real.
Well, maybe though,
Sad.
because I mean, Sakurai said when he was making the first Smash Bros. Game, they wanted to put James Bond in it. So if he can envision in his head a workable moveset for James Bond,
Well, I mean,
why not Master Chief? I guess.
we
I
have
mean,
Solid
they made
Snake,
Snake,
so I feel like,
work.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, like I felt like both of those are a stretch, but I mean, it could happen. You know, we don't know. But they put a potted plant in the game. Piranha Plant is great. I love him. So I don't know. It could happen, but I digress. I hijacked this. I'm sorry.
No, like
Good going. I don't even know what games Microsoft even did.
But like Minecraft and Cuphead and Halo
and Halo, and those are their exclusives. That's it.
Okay, so I googled it. We can do the Microsoft Solitaire Collection.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'm so sorry.
No, like there are some cool Xbox games though. Like I wanted to get I don't like okay, so going back to what Daniel was talking about. So if we go back to when they were originally making Smash Bros, Microsoft didn't get Rare until like the Gamecube was about to come out or whatever. And so why wasn't Banjo ever considered for Smash Bros?
Because they hate us.
Yeah, because like now, I mean, it's obvious why it wasn't in like Brawl or the Wii U, because he's, you know, Microsoft character now. But at the time, it's like he wasn't even thought of for the original. It's like, well, that's okay because there was only like so many characters in that. But then with Melee, it's like he wasn't even considered for that. It's just odd. I don't know.
Well, part of me thinks that it probably they wanted to get characters that they didn't have to fight for a license for, right? So, like, all of those characters in Smash, in the original, were, like, wholly Nintendo's license, whereas Rare, I think, owned the rights to the Banjo-Kazooie characters, even if it was licensed by Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
Another thought, Banjo-Kazooie was released in 1998. Smash Bros. Came out in 1999. So it's possible that Sakurai planned the roster and was doing development and stuff and didn't play Banjo-Kazooie when he was working on this game.
Possible. I would also like to point out, totally unrelated, Fable Thunder said Chubi for Smash, so...
Chubi?
I'm officially in the game.
Nice.
Yes, and that painting's an alt skin.
No.
But like not how she looks in the painting, but just the painting itself.
Nice.
We just
okay. So, with Xbox games that I would like to play on the Switch, if it was possible, I would like to see Sunset Overdrive, which I think would be possible. Just like lower resolution and everything. And then we have Recore, which was actually made by the original creator of the Mega Man series, who also worked on the Oracle games and Minish Cap and stuff. So I would like to see that game, and then a small indie game that I know could run on it, which I don't know if it's an indie game, but Ori and the Blind Forest would be really cool.
Oh, I love
I was
Ori and
thinking
the
about
Blind
that
Forest.
game,
That game's
actually.
so good. That's the first game I ever tried to stream.
Nice.
I would like to see Fable.
Is Fable Xbox exclusive?
I think so.
It is.
Or like Microsoft, because it's on PC, but
Yeah, it's on PC.
like
You can get it
Microsoft
on
has that
Steam.
weird thing though.
But I have it all on Xbox.
Okay. Because I know I had the first.
The first one would have been on Xbox One.
No.
Or no, sorry, Xbox One.
Oh no, it's Fable 2 I
Xbox.
had on the 360. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
Fable 2 is on 360.
And
were
I
making-
never finished it.
They were making a new one for Xbox One that was like a free-to-play thing, and then they just canceled it, and it made me
That's
sad.
good.
Oh,
That would have been
it's gonna
terrible.
be pretty unpopular opinion here, but I didn't finish Fable 2 because I kind of found it boring.
I tried Fable 3 and I didn't finish it. I think it was the one where it's like set in like the king and queen type thing, where like you play as a king or a prince or something like that.
Honestly, it is a really boring game. I don't know what it is about Fable that I like, though.
The first
don't
one
know.
was
Just-
cool.
You know, and it was not like anything that I didn't like in particular. It's not like I was like, this is poor design and this is bad and I hate this part. I just like just
It
lost
drags on.
interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I really wanted to like it because I had heard so much good about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm a sorry, Green Mario.
All right. So can you guys wait, did everyone already answer?
Daniel didn't?
See, I don't know what games are. I don't know. Like, I think it would be really neat to have. I think that there's a generation of gamers that are on the Switch that fell off of the Nintendo wagon and are finally back on board. They're finally here, performing for you. So if you know the words, no wait. But that probably fell off the Nintendo wagon after the N64 or the GameCube and moved to other consoles because they were in their teen years and wanted to prove how mature they were as gamers, right? You know, and then now they're back to being Nintendo fans with the Switch because people are like that. And I think a game that might capitalize on that, I think would be really neat to bring Halo 1, 2, and 3 trilogy pack.
The Master Chief
Put
collection.
them on there. Yeah, there you go. Just pop them on Switch there. And just, you don't really have to do all that much with it. Just upscale the resolutions and all that. And honestly, there you go. I never actually played Halo 3, just 1 and 2. I never fell off the Nintendo wagon though, but we had an Xbox and an Xbox 360. And I don't know what happened to that Xbox, but I do still have an Xbox 360. But poor dusty Xbox 360. But yeah, I remember Halo 1 was actually my favorite. A lot of people really loved Halo 2, but I actually really preferred the first one. I think there was a bit of charm that was maybe absent from Halo 2 that was in the first one, but oh well, I don't know. People would. I think that's a little trilogy pack. That's a nice little throwback. That would be nostalgic for a lot of people, and would probably make a lot of money. So that's all I got, guys.
Yeah. I banned the Rare Replay collection because I think that would just be the perfect solution because you get all of the
absolutely.
Super Nintendo and N64 games that everyone liked. Like everyone's been wanting Banjo, but I think the smarter thing to do for them would be to release them separately instead of as the pack. That way you could get like $10 for Banjo and Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie instead of giving them away with all the other games. But yeah. Anyways, so kind of going on to the topic we had earlier with like an indie crossover or whatever. If Nintendo and Xbox decided to partner on some sort of game where they were like, well, we're not making this right now, or we're not working on this, what game would you like to see Xbox kind of do their own spin on? Like everyone used to compare Halo and Metroid when Metroid originally came out, or Halo.
Not when Metroid originally came out in the.
I meant Metroid Prime.
You mean the other way around, right?
Well, I was meaning when Metroid Prime first came out.
Actually, though, I can see the comparison for the first Halo game, and maybe that's why, as a Metroid fan, I really like the first Halo game and not so much the sequels. Because in the first Halo game, not unlike Metroid, first of all, you start the game with an escape sequence, not unlike Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, and then you're thrown onto an unknown planet with a bunch of alien hostiles alone, and then you're working through this cave systems and things like that alone, and then there's bits of like other characters that pop up here and there, but nowhere near to the extent of later games. And then you find this extremely powerful hostile race that are not Metroids, I assure you. What are they called? The Flood in Halo?
Well, of course,
but
they're not Metroids. You play as Metroid.
They're not. Right, my bad. But yeah, no, it's just thematically, there's a lot of very similar beats that the first Halo game hits similarly to a lot of Metroid that are very like Metroid style beats. Now the gameplay is very different because it's basically a twitchy action shooter, whereas Metroid is a far more slower, more methodical game. And not saying that either one is necessarily, or that Halo's bad by any stretch, by the way, but I can definitely see in hindsight how that comparison would be made because of those. There's a lot of just story beats and stuff that really match up. So there you go, guys. Gaming 101 with Daniel. I should teach a class on this. No one would take my class, though.
A lot of people would take your class. You have no idea that, like, there's people that go to conventions that have no idea what the conferences are for. They just go to it because they're already paying to be at the convention. So they're just like, well, I'll go to this thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's talking, but I paid, so why not?
Fair enough. So, yes. And then I found maybe that's why when I played Halo 2, I was just like, just a bit of the soul of the first game that's missing here.
Mm-hmm.
I found,
Yeah.
But I like those isolationism games where you're just thrown and you're one person against the odds of the world,
So would you take a Halo Metroid crossover? In the vein of the Ubisoft Nintendo crossover, or the what was it?
Are you talking about Starlink or
no? Like
Rabbids?
there's Mario
Or
Rabbids,
just-
and there's the Starlink thing. But I was trying to think of Hyrule Warriors. Where like there's tons of third parties that Nintendo have like crossed their games with.
There's
So like, what would yours
I think
be with Xbox?
frankly the biggest obstacle for me to accept Metroid and Halo existing in the same universe is that both have conflicting ideas of what I don't remember what they're called in Halo's universe, but the Galactic Federation, that basically the human military essentially of those universes I would not coexist. They're both kind of presented initially as good guys, and then you see the shade side to, which I like that's the case in both. But then in Halo, they are generally more just like, oh, we're the heroic action guys, like just very, I don't know, it's very American action film. You know what so I don't see those two being I don't think I could accept those being in the same universe because of that. Whereas the Metroid Galactic Federation are like, hey, we're so the good guys, and then they're like, yeah, we're secretly breeding Metroids. Don't worry about it.
Wait, there's more than one orange suit person? How do they breed Metroids? No, sorry, I forgot. I forgot.
No.
In Metroid 2, there's the black Metroid.
I don't know what to say.
Is it not the black Metroid? Is that not Metroid 2 Echoes? Or is it Shadow Metroid? Is that it? Because Shadow Link, Dark Link Dark Metroid?
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I can't believe you didn't know, man. Metroid's the cyborg man.
What?
He's a cyborg man in a robot suit.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
Metroid and Mega Man. It's like it's the blue Metroid, the cousins.
Yep, exactly.
This conversation is right here. I'm like all the way over there.
No,
Bad.
it's like I was watching the Titans.
This is how-
I was watching no, not Titans. They're talking about Titans in the thing. It's related to it. It's Doom Patrol. I was watching Doom Patrol, and Cyborg is in it, like teenage Cyborg, and he has his blaster arm cannon thing. So it's like
he's Mega Man.
Yeah, it's basically like a silver Metroid Mega Man. Like there's blue Mega Man, there's orange Mega Man, and then there's the silver Mega Man.
This makes perfect. Don't forget about the gold Mega Man amiibo.
Who's the gold? What? Why would there be a gold Mega Man?
There's a gold Mega Man amiibo.
Yeah, but that's just an amiibo.
Yeah, but that's golden.
Yeah. Okay.
Mega Man.
All right, but Daniel, what is your Microsoft Xbox?
Oh,
Nintendo
right. We had a
crossover?
subject to discuss here, didn't we?
Yeah, what a weird
Since it's not
question.
Halo and Metroid, what is your crossover?
It's not. Yeah, it's not Halo Metroid, but oh lordy.
Oh lordy.
Oh lordy.
Oh lord, he coming.
Just put Minecraft guy Steve in Super Mario Maker.
What? Really?
That's it.
You wouldn't even.
Well, they already put Mario in Minecraft.
Okay, so here's how about this?
Just take it the other way.
What about like? I don't know how it would work, but like, Banjo was basically like, if you wanted to play a Nintendo 64 platformer but didn't want to play Mario, then you would play Banjo. I almost said Metroid. Metroid's not a platformer at all. It's a first-person shooter. Sorry. Am I killing you on the inside, Dave?
Brutally.
So if you wanted to play a platformer, like, would is there a situation to where like Nintendo and Xbox could work together on like a Banjo Mario crossover? Or
what they should do is Banjo and Donkey Kong Country.
yeah.
Ah.
Because
So smart.
Banjo was already in Diddy Kong Race.
But
then like
basically, yeah.
would Nintendo make it or would Xbox make it? Because would it be like Retro or would it be Rare? Like would Retro get mad and be like, how dare you take our
Don't infringe.
paycheck?
Well, Retro's now working on Metroid Prime 4.
Oh yeah, because the other
So we don't
studio was
know.
incapable.
They couldn't do it. So I feel like the problem with putting it back in the hands of Rare itself is that Rare as we know it today is not the Rare that made Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah,
Like that team is now Platonic Games basically.
they got all of the people that worked on the Kinect games that's Rare now.
Yeah, and for example, the composer for the original Donkey Kong Country, David Wise, ended up working with Retro on Tropical Freeze anyways, right?
Mhm.
So like we already see shades of that sort of development crossover. So I feel like it could work, though. I feel like those universes meld together really nicely. Although I guess Donkey Kong is in the Mario universe too, but
I almost said Diddy Kong Racing because that had like a mix of like Rare and Nintendo characters, but I don't think it would want that.
Axel's
But
already suggested
Axel
it
says,
anyways.
yeah, what about a new Diddy Kong Racing?
Oh.
You know what? Yeah, I'm on board.
I
always liked Mario Kart more than Diddy Kong Racing, though.
Yeah,
Hard agree. Very hard agree.
like
Mhm.
the tracks, the
contest.
weapons, everything, the characters were better in Mario Kart, but I like the all almost
like
adventure style of Diddy Kong.
Yes, and I like that Diddy Kong Racing had more vehicles and stuff, but then we've got like the track flipping stuff in Mario Kart 8 now, so it's moot at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with Daniel's correction of what I had mentioned, that I really like the Donkey Kong Banjo idea, because they were kind of so similar anyways.
Yeah, like you played DK64 and Banjo-Kazooie, and
then they could make another rap.
No. Yes. But would Banjo be in the rap? No.
The thing is, like that might feel like almost like pandering or trying too hard. You know?
It would be like, it's, instead of saying like, what does it say? It's the DK crew.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of being like it's the DK crew, they could be like it's DK and Banjo 2.
All right, Jesse, time to write the rap. We will do the voice for it. We will do the rap.
And then we'll send it to Sexy Mike to sing.
He actually does a very good impression of the DK rap. I don't know what he does not do a good impression of. I've yet to find
Sexy Mac
one.
is the sexiest of us.
We played Fortnite last night and lost like 7 times in a row.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Every time I've like made a joke and he's done an impression of any kind, or even sometimes I've been like, do this voice, and he just does it on the fly. And honestly, there's no impression that he cannot do amazingly that I have found yet. It's just magnifique.
Nice.
I know, he's the ideal 18-year-old.
He is. You know, and I wish that I was that cool when I was 18.
Right?
Yeah.
Choobs, who is your crossover? Like I would default to Zelda because I just like Zelda, but I don't know if I would want any of the Xbox companies working on Zelda.
That's just it. I don't trust the Xbox companies to do a good job on things. I don't want to put any of that in their hands.
Oh, I got an idea. All right. I thought of...
Okay.
So there is the Minecraft ripoff from Square, I think.
Dragon Quest Builders?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And
I feel like someone's going to get really mad about you saying that's a Minecraft ripoff.
Well, he's basically dressed... Like, the main character is basically dressed like a blue Link. So, if Nintendo and... I forgot the name of the development team, but if Xbox and Nintendo could somehow make a Zelda Minecraft crossover, I think that would be cool. Mojang, yes, thank you, Scorch. I think that would be cool.
Easy, you just reskin yourself as a character from Legend of Zelda. I'm already Chewbacca in Minecraft, why can't you be
from Pennsylvania?
So, like...
Yeah.
Okay, but, like, they would have, like, when you start in the overworld itself to, like, go around and start building and stuff, it would be kind of like a mix of the Minecraft story mode to where, like, there's an actual story to it.
Oh, I forgot there was a Minecraft story mode.
Have it be like a huge high roll that you can just kind of build or destroy or whatever.
Does Patton Oswalt get to voice Link?
Is that who does it? I don't know who that is.
I don't know if I'm pretty sure he's in. Maybe not in the games. I know there's a Minecraft story mode thing with Netflix. My kid watched one time, and I'm like, "Is that Patton Oswalt voice?"
Who's Patton Oswalt? Can we get him on the podcast?
Funny.
He's Ratatouille, man. He's that actor. He's in like a lot of stuff, but he's got such a distinct voice. He's also like the firefighter chief in Brooklyn, the fire marshal guy.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he does the voice in Ratatouille for a character whose name escapes me, and I know it's not Ratatouille. But yeah, Patton Oswalt. He's a very funny actor. But
no, he's got.
Can he voice Link?
He's got like 4 million followers. There's no way.
It would just be scary because just imagine that the first time Link is voiced with dialogue, and just imagine Patton Oswalt's voice. and how angry everyone would be.
Good.
Maybe they would be like you and just love it.
I love
You're worse than people that wanted Danny DeVito to voice Pikachu.
No, but then they had the article thing to where like they said Danny DeVito like he actually went to like do the test thing for it, but they just didn't go with him.
Realized how creepy and weird it was. Yeah.
It's hilarious. I love Danny DeVito for probably all the wrong reasons. But
yeah. So, Tubes, do you have any crazy thoughts on Xbox, Nintendo?
And that's that. Right.
No. So I forgot we were talking about Fable earlier. I think a Fable style Zelda game would be cool as well.
See, I was gonna say that, but
I'm sorry.
So you want to make Zelda boring?
No, it would be interesting.
Sorry.
Because like you already have a connection with the world and the characters. It wouldn't just be like here's this random guy from the...
So would Link turn into a big devil man if he does bad things?
Maybe it's like you get closer to being Dark Link, and then
you get to the end of Fable 2 and suddenly Link is big, fat, and bald, but you know it's Link because he has elf ear.
Well, Link,
it's a perfect plan.
There's always an old man. Who's to say there can't be an old man Link?
So what if you do a Mario-style Fable game and you can play as either Mario or Luigi, and the more evil stuff you get, you turn into Luigi.
You play as Mario and your companion dog, Luigi.
Oh my god.
Your companion dog is Luigi?
What did Luigi do to deserve this?
It's a farm of Yoshis. You have a pet Luigi.
Oh no.
You know what? Yoshi was a totally good idea, and I'm so sorry I didn't stick to that.
Why couldn't it have been Yoshi? It's like oh my goodness, it's one of those things that's like I didn't even think of that moment. Oh no. Poor Luigi.
Luigi would take a bullet for Mario though, so it's fine.
Would he?
Oh.
Okay, Jesse, can we move on?
Yeah,
this has been spiraling for like half an hour of us basically all wanting to blow our brains out simultaneously.
Hello everyone, I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, and here with us on the Hylian Gamescast is Shiblima and Daniel, and today we're going to try and quickly go over our top 5 worst Zelda dungeons. Now, I don't know if you guys seen this, but I asked this on ye olde Twitter, and there's tons and tons of people that was replying to it and retweeting it, and apparently tons of people have a lot of things to get off their chest about the dungeons that they particularly hated. And not too long ago, Tubes, you came across a very particular dungeon that you ended up hating. So why don't you go ahead and start us off here?
Okay. You guys are not going to agree with me. This is probably a very unpopular opinion. It's funny because I actually hadn't played Majora's Mask in a really long time, and as you guys know, I very recently streamed it. Jesse had spoken very highly of Stone Tower Temple, so I was like over the moon excited. I was like, yes, I'm at Stone Tower Temple. I'm so excited to do this because as you guys know, I hadn't actually beat Majora's Mask. That was my first time actually beating it. Hated Stone Tower Temple. Absolutely hated it. I wanted to die for the entire 5 hours that I did that.
5 hours?
5 hours, not an exaggeration. Go back in my VOD.
Now, did you come to like, oh man, I'm getting so close to beating this, and then like the whole thing just kind of reverses and flips upside down on you?
No, I got to a pretty good point there where I was like, if I have to play that stupid song one more time, I'm probably going to someone, and it's not going to be Link. And I actually got to a certain point. I think I was probably like an hour and a half until my stream was actually like I'd actually ended the stream, and I was like, I could just stop playing this game and tell everyone that I actually beat it. I could just switch streams entirely and no one would ever notice, right? So yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Go ahead,
Daniel.
roast me.
No,
I can't believe you've done this.
So it is one of my favorite dungeons from the last time that I've played it, which has been a while. Probably Majora's Mask 3D, but I do understand having to play this long so many times. Like before you can even enter the dungeon, you have to play it 3 times. So, or is it 4 times?
You play it a lot.
Yeah. So
I mean, are you talking about before entering the dungeon, the warp point, or
no? There's the
from the bottom of the
From
tower?
the bottom of the tower.
It's a lot more than 3 times.
It's a lot more than 3 times. And then you get to the top when you warp, and then you have to play it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you have
I
to get it
acknowledge
in
it's
the
not
right order as well.
of it. It's income. Yeah, but it's definitely lesser inside the dungeon, I think.
And it's like 5 hours, and anytime I even think about Stone Tower Temple, the song gets stuck in my head again.
I like this song. Well, not that song. Like the actual Stone Tower Temple theme.
That's it. That's it. It just gives me a fear. It just gives me a feeling of anger when I hear it.
I have a friend, CS Guitar 89. He has a really, really great cover of that song. You should go check it out.
Oh, swank.
I think you'll like it.
Okay. Daniel, your turn.
So I said to myself that Zelda 2 was going to just be off limits for this because then
Fair.
they all kind of blend together, and you know, they're all pretty actually linear dungeons. There's not a lot of dungeon variety in that game. It's better for other reasons. It's also bad for other reasons. But I gotta say that this hurts me a little to say.
Mm-hmm.
The Ice Palace and Link to the Past kind of irks me. And you know, I love that game so much. And when I streamed it, I was so psyched to be playing it. And every time I was playing it, I was having a bumpin' great time. And then I got to the Ice Palace and I was like, I remember why this dungeon is frustrating. The first reason is ice physics in video games. I always hate them. No matter what game. I just hate ice physics in video games. The only time an ice dungeon has ever been my favorite in a game has been Blossom Tales, weirdly enough. But there are very minimal, like very small amount of ice physics in that dungeon. Plus, you have the dash boots, or you can have them, which really mitigate those that issue. Because ironically, when you dash with them, you come to a full stop, so you don't even. I don't need. But so it's a good way of braking and not falling off edges. But there's just it's just a very tedious feeling dungeon with a lot of ice physics and a lot of having to backtrack and retread through the same rooms, and one puzzle right before the end. And this is probably a me problem, but there's one puzzle, and those who watched my live stream of it remember me like spending almost an extra half hour on the dungeon because of this one puzzle. But where you basically have to, there's the red and blue blocks that you have to raise and lower, and then there's a block that you have to shove from the upper floor to the downstairs floor, but you have to basically coordinate it so that you have the right red or blue blocks raised at the right time so that you can push the right block into the floor below. But if you have the wrong one raised and you're on the wrong side to push that block, you have to make a loop around the entire dungeon in order to fix it. And that just breaks that puzzle for me. Like, it just... There's so much about that game that's so good, but that one puzzle just makes me want to, like rage quit. And I've never raged him, so I don't know, but...
Big oof.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like the one time, and I just played through the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time, and had fun doing it. So that is how much like these Zelda
Water Temple.
Never have I, but I've actually heard, oddly enough, that the Master Quest version is easier. For the Water Temple, but I don't know. I've actually never played it so I don't know for sure, but. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I found that's the one that sticks out when I try and think of a Zelda dungeon I don't like, and it's really hard to think of one, but that's the one that comes to mind. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know if I've got any, but I'll keep thinking. But yeah, that's
I came into this with only one particular dungeon in my head, but now I have 4 or 5. But I'm going to say,
is it the minecart one from Minish Cap?
that is one of them, yes.
Oh, I knew it. I know you too well. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but I was going to say, so what I've been saying on Twitter whenever people have been asking me, and I've been replying, or on Facebook, is the Arbiter's Grounds, because of all of the invisible
Retro was
rats
just saying in
and
the chat.
fleas that like get on you and slow you down. I hate those.
Really?
Yeah, but I like the puzzles and like the use of the spinner and stuff. I think that's really cool. But that's the one that like in my head now, because there's good things and bad things about all of the dungeons, but like that's the one thing that I hate thinking of the most, is those invisible rats and stuff slowing you down.
Okay.
And then the quicksand. So
It's funny because when I think about the Arbiter's Grounds, I think that's when I feel like Twilight Princess hits its peak after you get the Master Sword and you do those string of dungeons. Because that's like when the game actually starts using Link transforming into a wolf in its dungeon design.
so
And it actually integrates that idea into and I feel like I don't know, it's one of the high points of the game for me. So this is interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong, but
no. When do you get the Master Sword in Twilight Princess? Like right before the Temple of Time? Or the Temple of Light, whatever it is?
So you beat Forest Temple, Goron Mines, then the Lakebed Temple. Then Zant tosses you aside like a dirty shirt. And you go to Hyrule Castle with Midna. Then Zelda's like, go get the Master Sword, dude. And kills herself. Just into gold light. And then you go to the Faron Woods, you get the Master Sword. And then Midna's like, oh, let's go find the Mirror of Twilight. Because that's a thing. And then that's when you got to do a bunch of other stuff around the overworld. And then you get to go to the Arbiter's Grounds. But I don't know. I like it. There's a bunch of hype build up to
Temple
get
of
there.
Time's after that?
I think Temple of Time. Yeah. So it's like Arbiter's Grounds, Snow Peak, Temple of Time, and then City in the Sky.
Okay.
I don't know if I've got the order quite right on that, but I know Arbiter's Grounds is the first one you get after getting the Master Sword.
Okay.
Is the first done.
Because I was thinking Temple of Time was right after the Master Sword, and the way you had said that, like, after you get the Master Sword, like, the dungeons get better. But for me, I was thinking Temple of Time was right after that, and Temple of Time is also one of the dungeons I hate, because you have to, like, use the statues and move them around and stuff.
I actually didn't mind that
concept too, because it's like you retread, you have to go all the way to the back of the dungeon, and then you have to play the dungeon again in reverse with basically bringing an escort or escort. You're escorting the statue, so it's a very different formula than all the other dungeons. So it's a nice little, like, that's the thing. I really love Twilight Princess dungeons because they think outside of what does a Zelda dungeon have to be. So you guys, your first 3 dungeons are like you're playing a Zelda game. These are your Zelda dungeon, and now you're doing the fire dungeon and then the water dungeon, and then they're just like, okay, now you're gonna do a dungeon in an old abandoned prison where there's ghosts and stuff everywhere, and you're still like, okay, well, I'm still playing Zelda, don't worry. And then they're like, okay, now you're gonna go back in time, and then you're gonna play this dungeon where instead of going through and exploring this labyrinth, you go from one end to the other, and then you basically it turns into an escort mission and you have to retread and play the dungeon reverse. Oh, and then you're going to do a dungeon that's someone's house. And so it's just like they just take these totally new spins on the dungeon formula. I love it. I don't know, like I feel like that's when the game like feels really energized to me. Like I still think Snow Peak's probably like the best one of the game in my opinion, but which is again actually an ice dungeon that I like. Wait a minute.
Snow Peak was very strong though.
And not that many points where there's ice physics.
Yes.
So yes. So
wolves, giant balls, And no, okay. Yep.
In the
The
newest
bond chain
video,
is great.
The newest video I'm working on, I actually reference Link's balls a few times.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
But yes, I'm sorry for hijacking this.
Spicy.
No, it's
Again,
it's all
Yeah,
good.
this became
Zelda
all
101
of,
with Daniel.
all of the dungeon.
What's your next least favorite dungeon?
It is. Wow, it's just me and Majora's Mask.
Oh,
I feel
boy.
bad every time I talk about it.
Uh-oh.
Great Bay Temple. Wasn't a fan.
What?
Wasn't a fan of Great Bay Temple.
Actually, a lot of people don't. I don't agree, but a
Like
lot of people
it's not the worst temple that I've ever played, but it's definitely up there on my list of temples that I don't like. But I also am personally just like, I find a lot of the water temples in Legend of Zelda games do that for me. Like the only one that I personally am not bothered by is the Ocarina of Time one, but that's because I've done it so many times I haven't memorized. I spent a lot of time just mindlessly going through the streams of water in that temple, so
But you are fish, you can swim. I love that dungeon puts ice arrows to use in a way that makes me wish that the game prior had, like Ocarina of those ice arrows.
They
you can't do
been.
that much in them. They could have been.
If we would have had that disc version. Who knows?
That's true.
That game could have been so much and more.
Yeah.
But alas.
So, Daniel, do you have another? Our last.
This is a hard one. I don't. The only the thing is I can only find really nitpick, other than what I already mentioned, with the Ice Palace. So I don't know if I can for sure say everything else that I try and think of. I'm just like, well, that's just one. It's not even the whole dungeon. Because my other pick was going to be Lanayru Mining. And I was like, well, I hate the music. And I'm like, but then there's all the time shift stones and stuff. And there's some really unique ideas in there and really fun fights and stuff. I just hate the music.
I hate the build up to it.
The build up's not.
Yeah. No, when you have to run around the map outside and the sand thing.
Fighting the invisible pirate ship.
No.
No, that's later in the game.
Okay.
When you're you have to go to the little caves and then keeps shifting it back and forth to where there's the electric balls that you have to get in things.
Link's
the door
balls?
opens and you can get the key. And I don't know. It's weird.
But
you're
tidbits of
running around
this
the
video
giant
about Link's
labyrinth
balls.
in the overworld. And then there's the quicksand and everything. But yeah. Anyways, Daniel.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can pick one, actually. I think Zelda dungeons in general are just super good.
It's hard because you pick one that you don't like and then you're like, but I actually like this, and this about it. Maybe I don't hate
That's
it.
the thing. And with the Ice Palace even that I mentioned, there are things I like about it. I like it. There are some really neat puzzles, and it's one of the few dungeons that the floors well. That are even falling into rooms below. There's bits of that in other dungeons, but I feel like that dungeon does it pretty well. There's some really cool, fun fights in there. But I don't know. Everything else just feels like nitpicks. But I know you said you had another, right, Jesse?
Well, okay, so the minecart one in Minish Cap,
which again I don't agree with.
Temple of Time because of taking the thing back and forth. The Arbiter's Grounds that I said earlier, and then Skyview Temple. The first Skyward Sword dungeon. I'm not a big fan of.
You mean bum.
What?
Bum bum.
Is that how the music goes?
That's how the music goes.
That's the entire song.
I was like, and then partway through goes.
Nice.
Perfect.
People talk about Skyward Sword music and they're like, I love it. It's orchestrated. It's great. It's fantastic. And there are really good songs, but so many of the dungeon themes are beyond lackluster.
That's why you don't hear the dungeon themes when you go to the concerts. Like, you hear the Overworld and Skyloft, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you hear the ones that they really put their guns into.
But yeah, the Skyview Temple song, and then you have to hear it again when you go to it later. Just boom, boom, and I'm like, man, like
the Phantom Hourglass dungeon as well. You have to keep going back to.
That's true. That one has just what is it? The boom, 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 bum, bum, bum.
I don't even know what it sounds like. I don't even know how you know.
Boom, boom, bum, 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 boom, 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 boom,
Apparently,
bum.
Axel thinks you're doing it wrong.
There's only one dungeon theme in Phantom Hourglass, though. So.
Oh, George is disagreeing with you, Axel.
His name is pronounced as Jorge.
Jorge, sorry.
That's a pretty nice theme. Its clarinet part is mysterious. Okay, the clarinet part is mysterious. I just remember being like,
I don't remember
like,
any of this song.
Like, I actually like Twilight Princess dungeon music quite a lot. There's some really nice varied themes that are very like. There's some lackluster ones too, but there's some nice dungeon themes in there. Link to the Past, Hyrule, like Light World dungeon theme I really like. The Dark World one gets really old really fast though because it's used for all the dungeons. Even Ocarina of Time's dungeon music is really memorable. Majora's Mask is more on the atmosphere, but just for me, it's like so many of Skyward Sword's dungeon songs are like feel really. Yeah, I would rather listen to Spirit Tracks' dungeon music, actually. It's really bumping. It's got this groovy bass. So, I'm just saying.
All right, so are we ready to go to the mailbag? Yeah. And then
I think so.
We'll do each one question and then we'll end it.
Oh, Jesse's tired today.
Well, it's 1:01 a.m. for me.
More acapella Zelda dungeons. I'm just gonna make a video one day, and it's just gonna be like a bunch of just like 10-second bits of me doing.
No, so the owner of Zelda Universe, he has some videos on his personal YouTube channel where he like does acapella songs.
Oh, okay.
So he's like doing the boom boom thing, and then he like doing all the instruments. But anyways.
Great. But is he Smooth McGroove? Because no one is as cool as Smooth McGroove. Unfortunately, I like that dude.
He's a cool dude.
Mine would not be anywhere near that quality. It wouldn't. I wouldn't layer it up. Just be one of. Just.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, Jesse.
No, it's cool. So, hello everyone. I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as you all may know me. Here with us is Chiblima and Daniel for the Hylian Gamescast, Zelda Mailbag, where we answer your Zelda questions. So if you have any questions that you would like for us to answer, put them in the comments below and head over to our Discord where you can leave them on our Discord as well. We have a special chat there for people to leave questions for us to answer. But if you want to have your question guaranteed to be featured, you can head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse to where you can, just make sure and guarantee that we answer your question or talk about whatever topic or segment you would like us to discuss. So, Daniel, do you have a question picked out for us to start out with?
Uh-oh, I wasn't looking at the question.
Also, friendos, feel free to put some in the chat for us to answer in case we can't find the question.
We have some in the,
did you have one that's been
the Discord?
This is true as well. And while we're doing, I'll grab one here. I got one doc that I put in there last week. But then after that, I'll work on just putting some of these other questions over. But this comes from Dragon of Kenor.
Mm-hmm.
They asked, if the Master Sword can lose power, as seen in Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker, would it be possible for it to lose so much of its power that it reverts back into the Goddess Sword? Granted, it would take a ton of magical or physical power, but could this happen? And I think yes. I think because we see it like revert a couple of stages back almost in Wind Waker, with the hilts like inverted in and the gem with no power. We see when Link is tempering the Master Sword up to that point. That's one of the stages it gets to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, if it like lost enough of its power, too much of its power, then who's to say it couldn't revert back even further past that point, right?
Yeah, and in A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds as well, I think you have to upgrade it to like the white sword or the golden sword and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it somehow loses that upgrade. So, maybe I think it could happen. I don't think Nintendo will do that, but although maybe not. I'm like now my brain is like, but Daniel, like I've got that whispering voice being like this whispering voice in the back of my head that's going, well, actually. So, in Skyward Sword, at what point does it change from the goddesses? It goes goddess sword. What is it? Goddess sword, goddess long or white sword, long sword, and then goddess white sword, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes the Master Sword, and then the true Master Sword, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
And it goes through those stages by being tempered in Din's, Neighbor's, and Pharaoh's flames, respectively, and then changes from the Master Sword to the true Master Sword after being blessed by Zelda. Is that right? Am my memory correct? Okay, if that's the case, and I'm not horribly misremembering everything, then it's reverting back to that point to before it was blessed by Hylia's power. But it didn't revert back to a point before it had been tempered by those sacred flames. So maybe the changes made to it using those flames in Skyward Sword are permanent changes to it, whereas the change from Master Sword to true Master Sword is a change in that has to be upkept by sages praying to keep Hylia's power imbued in the blade.
Because the power that comes before it are actually coming from the goddesses, whereas the other power is coming from humans.
Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, then that's as far back as it would revert. But that's only if I am remembering a game I haven't played in several years and 100% accurately. So
I was originally going to say no, but then as you started explaining it, I was like, well, it has like gone back from powered up states before, but it's never gone back to the goddess sword. And my idea, I think it was in the Discord, someone had asked like, when does the goddess sword become the master sword or something like that? I forgot what it was, but they asked something like that. And my idea was it's the goddess sword when it was created by the goddess, but then when it's the master sword, it's like forged into an entirely new sword. And it's so like the original is created by the goddess Hylia, but then with the master sword, it's the sword that the master created, because Fi is always calling you master. So that's like the goddess sword and then master's sword. So there's just a quick thought I had. But anyways.
No, that's a good thought.
Tubes, did you have any thoughts on this?
I think that you guys have pretty accurately summed up everything.
Dang.
Daniel went on a pretty good tangent there.
Yeah.
Sorry. I want to answer it as accurately as possible. Right?
Nice.
I mean, you remembered it better than I did, so.
Do you have any questions picked out, Tubes?
I put some more in there.
Oh, did you? Oh, let me double check.
Oh, here's one really quick from Gus.
Oh, do it.
To the entire Gamescast, how do you interpret the reality on Link's Awakening? Could you see it as a metaphysical one, or mostly based on an epistemological approach? Big word. Big
Gus.
words,
I
Gus.
feel like Gus always asks the really hard question.
He just puts a word in that really throws it off.
Yeah.
I
I asked us about like biochemical engineering before, and
Someone asked about the hydraulics or
That-
whatever.
yeah, that
for
was
different
Gus.
divine beasts. Was
That was
him?
Gus.
I
That
thought he
was-
answered that question himself.
did he? Oh my god.
I don't remember. Someone answered it in chat,
someone-
though. We didn't.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he did.
it's great. And then there's
So I had to Google this. What he's asking? Epistemologic, according to the internet, means relating to the theory. Yes, that one. Relating to the theory of knowledge, especially with regard to its methods, validity, and scope. Distinction between justified belief and opinion. I feel like I suddenly understand less of what the scope.
no,
of
so my quick answer
I am
to
not
this
smart human.
is all of Link's Awakening happens, and it is all real. That is my simple
accept this.
answer, because the Dream Windfish guy is a godlike deity, just as the other people are. So like there are the goddesses who created Hyrule, but then you have the lesser gods or the lesser deities, like the Great Deku Tree, who created his own people, the Kokiri. And you have Kokiri Forest or Korok Forest, the Lost Woods, all of which he created. Those are like magical worlds with magical beings that he is responsible for creating. And just because he isn't a goddess doesn't mean what he created isn't real. And then all of the humans don't think that the Kokiri are real anyway. And then the Koroks say that like most humans can't see them anyways. They're just like, oh, it's one of those fairy people or forest fairies people. I didn't think that they were real. Or like they refer to them as myths or whatever. So to the normal people, they don't know if they're real or not. And then with so like if the Deku Tree can create his own world, why can't the Windfish create his own world? And then it's just the only time those worlds intersect with each other is when he falls asleep, and then when he wakes up, the connection breaks. That's my thoughts.
Or do you think that Link has some ability to cross these worlds? Because, for example, like Link and Zelda maybe have these abilities to cross worlds. That's why Link and Zelda can get into, and Link's counterpart in Lorule, Ravio, and Hill, they can get into Hyrule. And maybe it's just some innate abilities that some people with special powers have. That's why Link and Zelda, or Link and Tetra, cross over into the world of the ocean in Phantom Hourglass, but nobody else does.
Mm-hmm.
And then Link in Link's Awakening crosses over to this other world in Link's Awakening.
Yeah, Koholint.
And there was one other example that I'm failing to remember
the
at this
Oracle games he was
present time.
kidnapped.
He was kidnapped by the Triforce. Just zip.
Yoink.
Thrown. Yeah. But yeah, it could be that Link. Oh, and another thing here with like dimension crossing, the dragons in Breath of the Wild. I can't. It was Cass, I believe. I was having a conversation with Cass.
The real
and
Cass?
he mentioned Cass in Breath of the Wild,
Okay.
who says something along the lines of basically that no one has actually seen any of the dragons. And then later,
yeah.
I'm like at lakeside, or the stable that's like right by Lake Floria, and I'm like, I can literally see the dragon from the stable, and nobody's seen dragons.
No, the first time I seen a dragon in Breath of the Wild, it literally scared me. Like I came out from the Temple of Time and just like turned the corner, and there's a dragon flying straight towards me from like the bridge of Hylia or whatever it's called, the one that goes to Lake Hylia. And it's flying over the bridge. Like I thought it was coming straight towards me, and I'm like, I don't know. Do I fight this thing? I don't think I'll win. I have like 4 hearts. Like
yeah, right.
I'm terrified.
But yeah, I mean, you can see them. Like they're not hiding.
And they're huge.
But then yeah, I mean that then and they're massive, and then people are like, I haven't seen any of these dragons. The only exception I can think of is that one of the Rito in the DLC sees the dragon. There's like a Rito guard that's like standing guard outside of the village. Like, oh, I was sent over here because someone said the dragon flies by, and then you can unlock the shrine. And if you talk to him again, he's like, well, that guy doesn't seem to be causing any trouble, so I'll go back home.
Calls it a day.
So
Yeah.
what
He's
he
like, yes.
realistically going to do?
Yeah, he's like, I can't take him anyway. There's no way. What the hell am I supposed to? So, but I mean, otherwise, like, you see the dragons, they basically cross through dimensions. Like, you can actually see it travel through a wormhole. I should post this video. I got a video of it on my Switch. I should post it on Twitter. I was digging treasure chests up using magnesis from the bottom of this little pond up the top of a waterfall in Lake Floria. And as I'm trying to pull this treasure chest up, the ground shifts, and the dragon just out of the water, and I'm not there a second ago.
Ooh.
But then when they leave, I should post that video on Twitter though. But when they leave, you see them just through a wormhole, and they're like gone.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what? Okay, bye. So maybe, you know, Link has this traverse dimensions in either a way that he can see things that most people can't see, dragons, or the dragons also have the same ability that Link has and pop into another dimension somehow, and just they're like, yeah, just go see how Hyrule's doing today. But they're all just as real as each other, just not in the same world, as it were.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Just my thought there.
All right.
I did a lot of talking.
Your
I'm
question.
sorry.
I've never even
Thanks,
noticed the dragons and when they show up and when they don't show up. I just sit there and I wait, and I'm not paying attention, and then I look up and suddenly dragon.
Dragon
have,
break. What?
I have a video for each of them that I did a long time ago, but it was like very amateurish video because it wasn't like edited properly. It was just like a standard let's play, like, oh, this is how you find a dragon, people. We're gonna warp to this place, and I do it like all in real time. It's not edited to skip through anything. So like it's a very lazy tutorial, and I'm just like, can you just kind of sit here until like whatever time they come? And then, yeah. So
Oh no. Almost all of the dragons can be found if you like with the fire for either like morning or night. Well, I think all three of them can be found at certain points, either just hitting morning or night.
Mm-hmm.
But
someone in the chat, Article 13 passed bye-bye. We're not in Europe, so
no,
that doesn't
Dude, it's
necessarily
okay.
affect us, but I feel bad for the friends that I have that do live in Europe. But I wonder if they could just say they don't live in Europe, since it's YouTube, you know?
Well, I mean, Commonwealth has...
Joey.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Send the videos to Joey and be like, Joey, just
who
I
watches
remember-
these?
upload
You
these.
know.
No, I remembered Ferris, because he's going into his Ferris Wheel Productions or something right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So I remembered that, but I didn't remember his first name. It was Joey.
Yes.
Yes.
He is technically half English and half Ferris wheel.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Canon. Confirmed.
Right. But Tubes, yes.
Hi, it's me.
Do you have
Hello.
I almost said song. Do you have a question?
I don't have a song for you, but I could have a song for you.
Nice.
I'm gonna pick a nice, easy question because these last two questions that we answered were heavy.
They were big.
They were
question.
big. They
Big,
had a lot of oomph.
big
So-
question.
I'm gonna give a shout out to our good friend Mr. Whale. I know that
Ooh.
Mr. Whale loves us.
Nice.
Spends a lot of time in the Discord. So Mr. Whale asks to the whole Gamescast, including our fourth co-host, which game are you most excited for? The spin-off or Link's Awakening?
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. This game needed a remake so badly.
Is
And the
anyone
fact that
more
it's
excited
actually...
for Yeah,
Could you imagine being more excited for a game that isn't Zelda for us? Could you imagine? I don't know if there's a game out there that I would be more excited about that isn't Zelda.
No, so there was the question Daniel and I had where people were like, do you think you'll be more excited for like Super Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild?
Oh, Breath of the Wild.
Or I think it was Daniel was on. I remember there was
I think so. That sounds like a familiar question that I probably watched an episode of.
Yeah, it was probably one of our early where we got really very like the questions we get now I feel are so different. When we started to be like this or this, what do you like?
No, like the first one was
And
like,
that-
do you think
and then-
Rick and Morty take place in the Zelda universe?
We offended people with that.
Someone
The answer was yes, but people were not having it.
yeah, because
But-
technically Rick and Morty, like, they cross dimensional barriers, so they can exist in any universe.
Exactly, but people didn't like that we said yes. But no, a lot of the questions we got were like, do you like this better or this better? Or they're like, what do you expect for the next Zelda game? We still get that one a lot, but now people are asking us hydraulics.
Gus. Sparking joy in our lives
I
as
love it.
usual.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, but Tubes.
Hi. You want me to pick a different question?
No,
I mean, that one we answered just
your husband
boom.
says Animal Crossing. That you would be more excited for Animal Crossing.
This is true. When you said husbando, I was like, wait, Jacob?
Which one?
Jake. Wrong one.
Jacob said he wants a divorce, so it's fine.
Rude. ROOD.
I have Brexit to protect me. Isn't Brexit supposed to be a bad thing for people?
Nah.
I thought
feel like this is a topic that maybe
this is not the right podcast.
we need to branch off into a friends friend.
Ooh, that's even beyond friends with friends.
I got none.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want, Jesse?
No, wait, I guess I was gonna wait for you to answer the question, but we all already did.
You said tubes again, so I figured that you
'cause
wanted
the
something.
question, Link's Awakening. But like we all already answered.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess
I may
we'll
have
do
picked
one
that
more
one
question
because I
to,
hadn't actually picked a different one yet.
You guys can pick out one more question to end it.
Each?
Yeah, I guess.
Our total? Or each?
It doesn't matter.
Let's do one last question to rule them all.
Okay.
Because
Alright.
I like sleeping. I have to go grocery shopping tomorrow.
One big sleep.
The Lord of the Rings meme from the other day. It's like if you could put an F word in Lord of the Rings anywhere, where would it
Oh yeah.
find them?
What?
Fuck your secrets. And then like you just imagine it in the same voice from Frodo.
Oh, right. In the same tone? Like you don't. Oh, no.
Did you see it too, Daniel?
I saw that. I actually meant to send it to someone. I forgot, but
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
oh, it's in. I think it's in my meme channel, or is it in Lewd Dungeon?
I
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember.
Uh-oh.
I seen it on Facebook and I had
Wow.
to share it.
Ruh-roh.
Sorry, maybe don't scroll through Lewd Dungeon. That's probably a bad idea.
Don't let your wife know.
Gus, why would you post that in the Discord instead of right there? You're right. That is a question, and I'm gonna answer it because you just asked it. Where is it? I have to find it. Oh man, what if Jesse? You have too many things here. Okay,
I'm sorry.
this isn't
So
here.
many.
Gus, where did you ask that question?
It was in your
Wait,
tube
he asked
chat.
it in my Discord. Okay.
In tube chat.
What is my what is your favorite Animal Crossing character, and should it be made into a plushie?
Animal Crossing character?
My favorite Animal Crossing character.
Yeah, welcome to the Animal Crossing mailbag, guys.
Animal
Where we
Crossing
answer.
mailbag. Where is Ilya when I need her? I miss
I
her.
don't know enough about Animal Crossing. Just give me a Tom Nook plushie that has him holding
The guitar.
I was gonna say holding divorce papers and crying.
No, Tom Nook. He
Tom Nook
he holds
lost his
a
kids in the
receipt
divorce.
or something.
Guys, why did you have to pick a meme for your plushie?
If I imagine Tom Nook holding anything that wasn't the guitar, it would be.
Why would
he
Tom
doesn't
Nook
hold
have
the
a
guitar?
guitar?
No, sorry.
That's
Are you thinking
KK.
of KK Slider?
Yeah, but
Oh, I do
would
know
imagine him
things.
holding like a receipt or something, because like you're always having to pay him, right?
He likes money, but apparently he's not all that bad.
But you can't hold crippling anxiety, so I don't know what I would give Tom Nook.
I would say like Isabel.
Can you just stop staring into my camera for a minute there? You're staring into my soul.
Abigail says Kix as a such.
I'm terrible.
Who's Kix?
Ooh,
Who is
Kix would be
Kix?
so cute. Kix does the shoes.
No.
Oh.
He showed up in City Folk and he would polish your shoes. This poor little dude, and he'd polish your shoes, and your shoes would magically turn into different. And then in New Leaf, he finally got his own store.
A shoe shop? Or is it like a weird
sells
like
shoes and
store
socks.
that's like okay. So it would have been weird if he was like working in Shining Shoes and then suddenly he had like a watermelon store. So
Watermelon store seems legit.
yeah, I want one.
Retro says he wants a shrunk plushie.
He wants a Shrek plushie? Good news, man. They get yourself some Shrek. Get Shrek,
You guys
man.
just not with the Shrek. Come on.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm a sorry. I'm a sorry, Green Mario.
I can't pick a good question. I suck. Daniel, are you gonna pick a better question? I'm sorry, Gus. It's not that your question is bad. It's just that it's bad podcast because they don't play Animal Crossing.
George, or so I said George again.
Link
Jorge.
asked, Jesse, how's life? That's legitimately one of the questions.
I love that question.
It's,
Thank you Lee, for caring so much.
it's okay.
All right, cool.
It's a solid 5 out of 10 average.
All right,
Yikes, my dude.
answered.
You're just like deleting stuff out of the.
I delete them as we
No,
answer them.
Jorge has one.
Question:
in the live
if you
chat.
were to choose
Since I mispronounced his name, you can we can end with
explained,
this.
Jorge asks, question: if you were to choose a non-explained big event in the Zelda lore or an origin story to tell in the next game, what would you go with? For example, Skyward Sword explained the Master Sword's forging. I would choose the Hero of Men story that we see in the prologue of the Minish Cap.
The title theme would be an 8-bit remix of It's Raining Men.
It's raining, man. Yes. Except they would just alter the last line where they say it's raining men to be the hero of man. I don't know. I got no. I'm running dry on jokes, guys.
It's been a long night.
Yes, for the uninitiated, the hero of men appears in the prologue of the Minish Cap, but not in any, where he saved Hyrule from some bad thing because he used a legendary blade called the Vikori Blade, which becomes the Force Sword later. And that's just cool. It's cool, but we never see him. He doesn't wear a hat. So but he still wears a green tunic, but not very much is known other than he's got beautiful blonde hair, and there's stained glass pictures of him.
Yeah.
And that's all we know. So,
Troops, do you have one?
I will probably say this again. I still want to know more about Breath of the Wild and what happened there. I have Creating a Champion about it, and I just need more.
I'm gonna steal your book.
I have the like limited edition one or whatever. It's the blue one, and it has the poster in it, and it has the worm.
Do you have the balls too?
Yeah, it's one ball.
Oh.
Wait, let me go.
Was it glue?
But you need
Show us your balls.
you need to go and find 3 other people that also have it, so you can. Oh, she's not there.
I'm immature. I'm sorry.
Tubes.
Yo.
You need to hunt down
What's your
3 more
ball?
people that have it, so you can take their balls.
So I can steal their balls?
Because you need 4. Right?
Oof.
So you can get an extra heart.
Okay, so
Or would you get more stamina? What would you do?
this, you can't really see, but it has, like, thing in the middle,
Is-
but
Weird
just-
orb?
Is that a jawbreaker?
yeah, it's a jawbreaker. You can't see, the
Oh.
reflection oh, it's kind of there.
It's upside down.
I know, I tried.
Big oof.
Big oof.
Yeah.
Now, can you absorb it into your essence?
No, she
like
needs-
into your
She
very
needs
being?
3 more.
Actually, I complained about this earlier. I don't like the book because I put it on my bed and now it's all linty, so I can like there's like little black lint on it. But
Lick
it's
it off.
so beautiful. It
Yeah.
smells so good.
I'm a
Edible,
jelly. I
edible.
need that book still.
Oh, it also came with a map.
Ooh. Oh, that's nicer than the map I got.
It's huge.
That's
and
enormous.
It really
Is that? Oh man,
That
that is
is
awesome.
huge.
It's also upside down.
It
I
would
know,
cost
I
like
tried.
$50 or $60 to get a frame for that.
Damn. I'm in
Sorry,
love
this is a show off
that
with
map.
Chewy moment.
Man, because I have the Explorers Edition and the map, and that is just dinky in comparison. It's still nice, but that is just next level.
I went all
Abigail.
out on this one because it was on sale.
Abigail
Oh.
says you'll never steal her spirit wand. Challenge accepted.
I don't
It's like-
remember how this.
As soon as the podcast ends, Abigail just hears a knock on her door. It's Tubes.
So is this where we're gonna see? So we're gonna see Tubes accidentally tear this map in half by
No,
trying to fold it.
no, it's like it's made out of a really cool material. Like I don't like. I'd have to try really hard to rip.
Abigail
Is it
says, don't
flammable?
forget the champion photo.
Yeah, I have it. Trying
Wow.
to fold this. You know what?
It's the one Link
Just-
has on his...
Use that as a blanket.
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep with that tonight, guys. Ta-da!
Oh.
Oh,
That's so cool.
Anyways, that is my show off session.
Tube
You're
should
welcome.
open, pun not intended, an unboxing channel.
Yeah, where she holds everything upside down.
Can you guys?
Uh,
I held
but
it
not
upside down
not-
one
don't
time.
like make a joke out of it. Like it'd just be one of those things that you just do and you never like draw attention to.
Why don't I know how to fold this back up?
All right, while she folds
Oh,
that,
dear.
I would... Okay, so I have a few things. One,
Okay.
the flower pot merchant guy from Wind Waker. I want to know his story.
Ooh, Zenari?
Is that his name?
Yeah, Zenari.
He's
Pretty
like,
sure that's
I can't sell you this here, and then like he like takes 2 steps over and he...
yeah. The counter where you're supposed to go buy stuff.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And then
Yeah, Jesse.
Have you not worked in retail?
I have.
I related to that. Okay, because my coffee shop job, I would have that sometimes. Where at the handoff, someone would come up and just try and start ordering, and I'm like, the cash register's over there at the top of where that big lineup of people waiting to order is, and you just walked off. So I felt like Zenari. I'm like, no, you don't. you come over.
Bet you just love our old job, wasn't it? Just
I don't miss it. So
Okay, so there's him. There, someone, I think it was Edible earlier, mentioned the flooding of Hyrule event,
yeah,
which was the rumored Zelda game about Colin.
oh yeah.
I would like to know the creation of the Divine Beasts. So not the event that happened 100 years ago, but the event that happened 10,000 years ago, where they originally used them to defeat Ganondorf. So like the Link, because they have like some weird version of Link on the map or whatever of Hyrule, where it has the
right on that
guardians
big
and stuff.
tapestry.
Yeah, it's not a map.
Yeah.
So yeah, like which hero was that? And then there's I want to know what Twilight Princess Link does after the game. Like we know what all the other Links kind of do. Like some of them just go on living happy, normal life, presumably. Like there's nothing bad that happens afterwards. Like Ocarina of Time Link goes off to find Navi and ends up in Majora's Mask. Wind Waker Link sets off to go do whatever, and then Twilight Princess Link, it ends similar to Ocarina of Time, so we know there's a story there. Because like both of them have their best friend like run away, disappear, which
Best friend.
Yeah, well, Midna had a reason, like she had to get back to her people, but Navi's just like she just effed off without even saying bye.
This is
peace.
she gone.
Yeah.
Done dealing with Link's business.
Yeah, and then it's like Navi talks to Link, but we don't know what any of the other fairies say to the other Kokiri kids. Like, why don't we know what they say?
Never thought about that before.
Yeah. Like, they all have their own fairy, but yours is the only one. Like, can each fairy only talk to the one they're assigned to and the Deku Tree? Or like when all the kids are asleep?
People, but they're not allowed to.
I was gonna say, because that doesn't make sense, because in Majora's Mask, they talk to whoever they feel.
It's true, but in the Kokiri Forest, there's like a social protocol. Like, don't talk to
No,
damn, you're my fairy.
When all the Kokiri are sleeping, the fairies just get together and be like, you'll never guess what that idiot Mido did.
They don't sleep. They just all come together and just gossip all.
Yeah, and then there's the like the know-it-all brothers. It's like they don't know anything. They're a sham. There's this one kid. He just spends all day trying to pick up a rock.
Yeah, those fairies must live very boring.
All he does. It's all he's done for the last 7 years.
He just tries to pick up a rock.
He's just trying to. He'll never get it.
And then there's the one guy that like tries to guard the exit to the Lost Woods, but like no one wants to leave the Lost Woods anyway, except for Link.
Oh yeah.
There, like, he's just.
It's like Link is literally the only one that wants to leave anyways. All the other are fine being in the forest.
Nope. You can't go.
It's like you should technically be guarding the other way, like making sure no one comes in.
Making sure no one comes in, yeah, because then he's gonna be vulnerable. So come and stab him right in the back.
Yeah, like Ganondorf literally came in like a week before the game starts. So
but then as soon as the Deku Tree dies, he's just like, I'm done. Like he just gives up trying to the exit. He's just like, he just stands aside. He's like,
basically took his entire purpose of life and threw it straight into garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the podcast, guys.
But I'll just do a weird drop here, but on the topic of like unexplained mysteries that we never got a game about, there's a really good video on Zeltic's channel that's like talking about links that are mentioned that we never actually see in the game, and I think he actually covers both the ones that we mentioned, the Hero of Men, as well as the 10,000 year prior hero from Breath of the Wild. So it's a really neat video. I just want to throw that out there.
Yes, I love Zeltic.
I like his videos a lot. So.
I completely forgot. He like said he wanted to come on the podcast, but then like I never got back to him. Cause like,
cool.
Well, his time zone's pretty different than ours.
We
have a hard time coordinating for
a few days ago.
Like that's true too. we have a hard time connecting with like 3 hour difference. This is like gonna be what, like 8-10 hours.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's 5 a.m, but I guess I could do the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how it was the first big guest that we had on the first podcast that I did. We all had to wake up at like 4 a.m.
Oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I guess I'm trying to give you a hug. I don't know.
Goron hug.
The closest you guys will get to hugging Daniel.
Yeah.
Me included.
Unless I've, but.
All right. Yes. I'm Jesse. Really quick, everything you can find /GameOverJesse. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, everything /GameOverJesse. My phone has recently been promoting RuneScape to me, so I guess add me on RuneScape as well. That's no joke. It's my phone's literally been promoting.
Why are you gonna do me dirty like that?
Yeah, choose. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter @Chublima, also Instagram @Chublima. I don't really use Instagram though. Most importantly, Twitch @Chublima with an extra A because I am back in business. I finally fixed the problem that was happening. This time I'm being serious. It's Thursday night for some more Twilight Princess, and if it doesn't work, I'm lighting my computer on fire.
Good solution.
Yeah. And here, hopefully, weekly on the podcast. That's fine.
Yay.
Daniel, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm Daniel. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, all at CaptBurgers, CaptBurgers. Particularly Twitch. I stream usually on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings, but last week I have been a little bad at doing that because it's been spring break, so I've been hanging out with the human child of mine, but I intend to stream tomorrow morning, so it's good. We're just gonna finish up Ocarina of Time. They gotta go kill again, and yeah, otherwise everything. Go take a look at my Twitter. I post anytime I do anything else. I tweet about it. So just that's really the best way to stay in touch with whatever the hell I'm doing.
You said
that's all. That's. Oh no!
That's cool. I said the F word earlier.
I almost said so many other bad words.
Yeah, you actually said the F word today. So this entire video is going straight. It's nice knowing you guys do.
Yeah.
Bye.
Edible, I did not play drums. I did at one point.
I unplugged my headphones, so now I can't hear anything.
These drums are from Mr. Ortiz, Robert Ortiz.
They're autographed drumsticks.
They are. They got blood on them too, so I probably shouldn't touch them. Because if that movie, The Dirt, taught me anything about rock bands, yeah. No, so yeah.
I never saw this movie.
It's a new movie on Netflix. It's about Motley Crue. Not a huge fan of Motley Crue, but a lot of my favorite bands were inspired by Motley Crue. So yeah. Yeah, I guess with that, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Tubes. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Jorge. Abigail. What?
Thank you, Jesse.
What happened?
Thank you, Jesse.
You thank everyone, but you don't thank yourself for bringing us all together.
I cracked my shoulder when I did this, and
good time.
Is this the part where we say goodbye?
Yeah, bye everybody.
Goodbye.